Okay, we'll get started. This is session 37. We are currently standing inside of the quote unquote murder tube, I believe, or it's been dubbed by some players, but it's actually an Ergothoan tower in the southern part of the stolen lands that you had come across, and you've made your way in and around and through I think, let's see, let me count how many floors of this thing you've done. You came in on the fourth floor, you descended down through to the basement level. So you've been on basically 4 out of 5 levels, I believe, in this thing so far. And you're now, I believe, making your way back up from the basement level where you had uncovered the fact that there were some hostages here that were being enslaved and spinning the wheel that kept the fire hot, so to speak, in the bottom of the tower. After rescuing them, I think you had started to make your way back upstairs and made it as far as maybe like the third level before you encountered a few Spriggins, I believe, was the most recent thing that had occurred. I believe you dispatched of them, and that's where we left off. So I'm sure I left out a million things, but that's a high level summary of what I remember.
My only correction with that would be we saved some of the slaves.
True, there were a few that did not make it. Yes, indeed. And that was, let's see, that was our last session or thereabouts where we were. Does anyone else have anything they recall or wanted to add to the current objectives or the next actions you guys were planning?
No?
No, I can't think of anything. It's been ages, feels like.
It has. So I'll cut over to the map. It usually helps a lot in reminding us exactly what was going on. I think you can see yourselves here on this level. This is where the Spriggin battle was. You had started making your way up. You left the remaining hostages down a level from you, so you had started to clear the levels above you and cleared this level here. I believe there were these 2 Spriggins. I don't recall. I think we did give you guys a few things that you might have found here, but I don't recall if there was anything else that you were planning to do on this particular level.
I don't think we looted this level, if I recall. I don't remember getting anything from this level. I feel like we finished up the combat and then called it a session.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you guys basically can tell that this is some type of, looks like maybe a packaging level where there's things being packed and unpacked in crates. In the far southeast corner of this level, there's a large pile of crates that seem to be marked. The rest of the room, like I said, like in the open areas, looks like there's crates in various states of assembly. Some things have been open and unpacked, but it seems to be like an unpacking and packing area from your quick look.
If I don't still have detect magic going, I'll get detect magic going again, and then have a quick walk around the room to see if anything catches my eye or grabs, more importantly, grabs the detect magic attention, like pings on it.
Sure. See, while you're down there, the other 2 guys, you're up in this other space on the level where I think you defeated the Spriggins, and I believe you've already searched the Spriggins, if I'm not mistaken, because that was where you got the potion, the 13 gold, and the 46 silver was from those guys, I believe. But one of the things that you notice in this area is that there are some papers and books in one of the corners of this section. So let me just have everybody roll perception checks, and we'll see who notices what in each section here. All right, so both Rekla and Dallett make your way to the log books that you pretty much start to leaf through, and you could determine that these are tracking shipments from the tower to the tower, right? There's incoming and outgoing shipments that are being tracked in these logbooks by date and month, and pretty meticulously you can tell that the it seems like the Spriggins were more than just bodyguards. They were also good bookkeepers. If you take a moment to leaf through it, one of the things that starts to stand out to you is the word pitax. And it's mixed in and throughout the shipments that there's something that's either going to or coming from pitax almost every couple of weeks. And so that definitely gets your attention. That's a smoking gun in the smoking tower feeling for you to find that. That's one thing. Sydney, in the lower level, as you start to search through here, you're like maybe just taking a closer look at some things, and as you're looking around, it doesn't make sense to you like what the markings on the barrels and crates mean. You're confused by that. And what else do you find in here? Really just nothing of value other than hammers and nails and wood planks. So what do you guys want to do there with that?
So the symbolism I saw, it doesn't have anything to do with Ugathoa or Pentax, because I'm aware of the House of Pentax and their
Yeah,
rivalry with
yeah.
Boy and such.
Yeah, no, the symbols don't really, they don't appear to
They
be
don't match
like
either of those.
religious or royal or noble, those sorts of things. So it's
Are
confusing.
they
You're,
the same symbols on everything? Is it like a consistent symbol at least?
no, they have all have different symbols on them, and none of them really
Okay.
fit those categories that you're pretty aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm just moving on then. If there's no consistency to it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And nothing pinged for my detect magics.
Yeah.
Sydney is ready to roll.
All right. So you guys, I'll put you guys back together up here. I'll let you decide what you want to do for your next steps and what your marching order here is with the three of you.
I can take point.
All right. Dollar
Yeah.
up front.
Rekla can follow behind in second place.
All right. Perfect. And
What is your
next step here? I think do you still have the hostages below you? Are you going to return to them to tell them that it's all clear and that they should ascend, or are you all going to just ascend and then come back to check on them?
I guess tell them to go up because there's no a level above this, right?
There's a level, there's two levels above this.
Oh,
We came in on the level above this, and then
Yeah,
there's another level right
right.
above that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. hmm
so there's no one around.
There's no one on this level. You guys have cleared it for sure. You feel confident that it's
Yeah.
pretty clear. All right, I'll bring them up here. You guys can give them
Yeah.
the signal, and I'll move them up to this level. So here they are, checking it out. Again, you've got various abilities and various states of. Actually, no, they're all. I remember, Rekla, you had done a heal, an emanation heal, I believe, and so all of them are actually at the same level of health because of that, and not as depleted as they once were. At this point, you might have a few of them like chomping at the bit to help you without really knowing what their full skill level is. You've got one kobold, you've got two what we'll call loggers, you've got one bandit, ex-bandit, if you will. You got Svetlana, and I'm trying to remember who the last one was, a lizard folk. So
I
you've
think we
got a
armed
mix.
Svetlana with something.
Yeah. I think we armed a few of them.
I did.
Yeah.
I want to say you did give out a couple of the daggers that
Yeah.
you
That's
found.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, they've got daggers. At least they've got a last line of defense, if you will.
I think I gave my crossbow to, maybe that's what it was. I might have given my crossbow to Svetlana.
Okay. All right. Let me mark the ones that have.
Did
Which ones?
we take a rest?
Yes, I think didn't we?
I thought it was we were going to clear this floor, have them come up, and then take the rest.
That sounds right. Because I remember saying that Rekla had been pretty much drained of all of his spell casting abilities, and he was.
Yeah, I don't think we've taken a rest either. Our plan
Yeah.
was to take the next floor and then just exit.
Oh, I thought we were going to go
That's
back
where we
down.
came in on. I didn't think we wanted to rest in the tower knowing that there were still active enemies in here.
Oh. Yeah, I figured we
I
were
thought
just
we
going
were
to
gonna
chill
go
here
back to
tonight.
camp. We've got a dude in camp, I thought. And we have somebody that's sitting there.
Yeah,
We
we've
did
got
not-
a guy. I think we told him 2
The
days.
kobold.
Also, yeah,
Yeah.
that kobold that
Yeah.
came out with us.
That's true. You told him 2 days, and
I don't remember, but my understanding of the plan was hit the fourth floor, get the fuck out, and basically head back to where our old camp was and camp there.
that's a decision you guys can make now. Whether there was any agreement before or not, you now have a lot more people to worry about, so that's something else to think about, how you would get people in and out safely given that. But yeah, I think that's probably the discussion right now, is that do you guys feel safe enough to try to set up camp in here, knowing that you still have potentially uncleared floors above you? As far as enemies left below you, there is the skeleton that sits at the table at the feast below you, and otherwise there's a skeleton below you as well that's job is to feed the fire.
Have we actually, aside from that above us, has everything below us been explored? Have we seen the bottom, basically, of the murder
You
tube?
you believe you've been to the bottom of the stairs. I'll say
Okay.
that. The
All right.
spiral
I'll take
stairs
that.
you've been
Yeah.
all the way to the bottom of. You have not been all the way to the top of.
Gotcha.
Okay. I feel like
All
it'd
right.
be better to camp in here because I don't know how we're going to get people out.
Yeah, we'd have to get a little creative, climbing out a window or something, I think. So yeah, I would agree that it's probably better to rest and recoup right here, and then try and get out.
Yeah. Maybe I missed it, but did either one of those lower floors have a door out?
I
I don't
can't
think
say
they
that
did.
that was ever discussed. We were never actually, hey, I'm searching for an exit door, but
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
no.
I think that's a great sort of realization that you might make right now, is that you had not recalled passing a door that left
Yeah.
the tower. Yeah. I'll say this. So our hostages will have obviously some differing thoughts about staying here. And so I'm gonna roll for them. I'll do a D20 roll for them. These are all just gonna be for their reaction here to the idea of staying in the tower for the evening. So we'll see how much dissent you have amongst this crew. Let's see.
Oh.
For the others, see, for you guys, what was your plan B here on how you would set up camp?
Maybe barricade the entrance to the floor, like
Yeah.
wherever the stairwell lets out onto this floor. Are
Yeah,
there
'cause
any
that's the only.
windows on this floor?
Yeah.
No, not on this one. Oh, the floor above there are, though. All right, so
You did say that there was like some lumber and like nails and stuff like that, right? So
there
we've
are.
got some
Yeah.
materials that we can use. And we've got some labor with the loggers and such. So we could probably throw something together.
Yeah.
So it does appear that there's a lot of dissent in the group regarding the idea of continuing to stay. Obviously, they're not in much of a position to object. You are their saviors, and they're going to follow you and follow your lead. but I think you can sense that at least 3 or 4 of them would prefer not to spend another 8 hours just holed up here waiting for somebody to find them. So there's some nervousness amongst that group, but they, like I said, they will follow your lead. Really, I think we would look at this in maybe a similar way to camping activities. And if you look at the camping activities, there are some things that you can use to counteract this situation a little bit. Probably things you wouldn't normally use because you all don't normally have dissent amongst you. Let's see. I think it's under the handouts.
Yeah, maybe somebody can tell a campfire story that'll inspire these slaves a little bit to buck up for the night.
There's no camouflaging this campsite.
Let's see. Yeah, it could be. If you wanted to try to create something in the corner or something hidden behind the
Yeah, we could
barrels.
try and camouflage the sleeping arrangements a little bit.
Yeah.
You could hide them there at least so that they're hidden. If you're found, they're not found. That's in play. Making a meal obviously is in play. That would have a big impact on them, just as I think the campfire story too would. So I'll let you guys decide how you want to spend these.
That's why I was just reading the status effect for critical failing a campfire story. Just unsettle your companions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the worst.
Yeah.
I think Rekla would cook a meal. He's the only one that's really trained in that, and I don't think he has much skill in the other activities.
Okay.
I'll try to do camouflaging.
Sounds good.
I'll aid in the camouflaging.
All right. You can do your aid roll. See if that helps. Okay. How are you going to camouflage the scene here?
Probably try to rearrange some of the stuff that's against the walls so that there can be sleeping spots behind them that wouldn't easily be seen from the stairs.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can slide some things around without it being too loud either. So not only are you competing with the idea that I think that it's going to be hard to see, but you're also trying not to make too much of a disturbance as you slide things around, which Sydney's able to help you with. So you can feel like you can get some hidden places for resting. Rekla, what are you going to do? You're going to do
I'm gonna cook
the meal.
I think I'm just gonna do a basic meal.
Right. There you go. What did you make here? Is this something?
Maybe that kobold casserole, the old standby.
All right, a good old kobold casserole is cooked up. I think, let's see. So for this one, you had a success. Is this a basic meal or a special meal?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so the group will partake in some of the meal and definitely raises some spirits. Everybody will have a +1 status to all savings throws until the next adventuring day. That's good to go. What about, let's see, so Sydney's helped, Dallett's done his stealth, Reckless cooked. All right, so I think at this point the others are going to attempt to relax. That's going to be their attempt, so we'll see if they're able to do that. All right, all right, so these guys. basically making like checks to see if they will relax. You got two of them that seem really nervous, like really scared about this whole situation, more so than the rest. I'm gonna mark those two in yellow right now since they are in fear. The others seem to understand and be following along with the plan. I'm gonna move everybody in here for now, so they're off the staircase. If there's a certain positioning that you've got figured out for them all, let me know, but I'll just stick them here in the corner for now. All right, what is our watch order going to be then?
Rekla will take first watch.
I can take the last watch.
All right. I assume you're good, Sydney, with the middle?
Yep, I'm good with the middle. Sydney is pretty quiet for most of the evening. She doesn't say a lot, which is abnormal for her. You get a sense that she is of a similar opinion to most of the slaves and not excited to be here, though she keeps most of that to herself and just puts herself to work. And you get a lot of yes, boss, yes, boss. And she just keeps working, helping Dallett out, doing what she's supposed to do. But she's not very talkative. She's not happy to be in here.
Yeah, the other thing is you will... I'm trying to think of how this actually works here. I think someone else has to do watch as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it has to be supposed to get...
I can do that. Is that a perception thing? Organize watch. Yeah, perception. All right.
All right, so you're going to do the extra watch. Let's see, so...
Oh, yeah. Sorry, extra watch. I thought you meant organize.
So, yeah, I mean, like, the way that it reads is that you guys have to get, in order to get the benefits of a full night's rest, you have to have 8 hours of rest, right? So, so for each of you, you really have to have at least 4 to 5 people keeping watch, right? For this to be, so you would need to get
Maybe
others.
Svetlana is willing to take a watch.
I think that would work. I think she would be willing to do it. She does have a crossbow.
Maybe her
Of
and both
course.
of the loggers. Between the three of them, they could probably keep an eye open.
She could also use Rekla's, whatchamacallit, Morning Star, if need be. She's got a melee weapon.
All right, we'll do it this way then. So we'll have, of the order will be like this. All right. Anything else you all want to take care of, plan, arrange, or do otherwise before starting your night's watch?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll start out with Rekla first. Your couple hours goes by pretty quickly, Rekla, and you're able to then get some rest and hand off to Sydney, who keeps watch and has a very similar experience. So after that, Dallett would be woken next. And I'm just rolling. Okay, so Dallett, go ahead and do a perception check. Perfect. Literally. So, yeah, you hear some voices, Dallett, that are ringing out to you fairly clearly from the stairwell. And they sound as if they're coming from above you on the stairwell. They're faint, but as you get closer to the stairs, you can start to make out that there's certainly two voices that are having some type of conversation. From here, you can really start to pick up pieces of it pretty easily. Let's see, what is it you overhear is... One second. Yeah, so you hear like a growling voice, that's a lot more raspy, and then the other voice that you hear is a little bit more of a calm, human sounding voice. Neither voice sounds like one you've heard before. I don't believe you've heard either of these voices before, but they definitely are in this conversation, and you lean in to listen to this. And I'll just give you a little snippet of what you're able to make out just from standing and listening with everyone else being absolutely still and quiet in their beds. You overhear that one of the voices says, "You disappoint me, Xandros. The last clutch of beasts was due a week past. My trolls grow impatient, and their rage will not hold forever." That's the raspy voice that you overhear first. The human voice then responds and says that we have had some disruptions here that have slowed the process. Our ranks were thinned again, thanks in part to your little war drawing attention. The tower will now need to be restaffed before more are born. And then you hear the sort of mocking voice of this growling voice say, "Let them come. These self-crowned fools, settlers of the stolen lands. Let them build their little thrones in the dust and expect the wild to bow. And yet they cost us time, blood, resources. You're not the only one counting dead servants, Daraven." And that's the first time you've heard this name uttered, I believe, which is, I'm going to paste that in, Daravan. And the person he's talking to, he already mentioned, is Xandros. You could tell that they're a couple levels above you. They're not on the level directly above you, but they must be close to the staircase on the level above that, just based on the echo that you're hearing of their voice and their boots. Ultimately, you hear the growling voice of Daravan say to him, "The King of Thorns will not be pleased by your delays. Make it right, and see that this distraction is taken care of. Farewell." And with that, the conversation comes to a close. You hear a little bit of movement, again, some boots echoing up above you in the floors above somewhere, and then it goes silent. You don't hear anybody coming or going at that point. I guess, that would be maybe towards the middle to end of your watch, so you can wake up Svetlana, let her know what do you want to tell her, I guess, if anything.
I would just be careful with voices. Listen for people coming from above. Let her know that I heard some people talking.
Okay. She will do her best and keep an eye out. So she sets up with her crossbow, leaning in the corner and looking across, listening. And you all can now get rest. Let's see how their night goes. All right. So in the morning, I'm going to give you guys, go ahead and take the full benefits of your rest. The logger awakens you all, though, in the morning abruptly. So it's not as if you peacefully awaken. You are stirred in the morning by the logger, who says he's heard a lot of movement up the staircase. It's not gotten closer, but it's loud. And I'm worried. And so that's the alert that you awaken to. These.
Yeah. Sounds like maybe they're getting ready for something.
Yeah, I grab my crossbow and arm myself. I'm ready to rumble if it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So you
Might
all
need
can
a
do
little-
perception checks here as you're awakened as well.
A
So
little too groggy.
yeah, you're not picking up on any heavy movement, but you believe him. It's not as if you think he would make something like that up, that he heard the movement. But right now, whatever it is just seems to have stopped, or for whatever reason. But yeah, so you guys are awakened. You've got a couple of still nervous hostages with you. And what do you want to do next?
It'd be great to get to a floor that has access to the outside, so we could potentially get these people out of here and not have to worry about it
Yeah.
anymore. So maybe we try and go up a level because we think there's a window on the next level up.
I should have.
I think that's the level we came in. So there's definitely a window there.
Okay.
But then, I don't know about you guys, I don't have any rope or anything. So we could check this floor or the next one to see if there's anything we can use.
I do
So it's
have rope
lower people
in.
down.
Rekla has rope, but I don't know how high up are we.
Yeah. So you want to go up to the next floor and take stock?
Yeah, that's something.
The other option is that we go down and we try and figure out an exit on the ground level.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to run into any. I hope we don't run into any combat down there. But
It seems like maybe the less confrontation while we have these people in our guard, the better.
yeah,
So why don't we go down and try and find our way down to what we think was ground level?
okay. Fine with that. I can take points down the stairs.
All right. So
I'll take the bet. I'll be the very last in the line. But all the slaves and stuff, are they coming with us? We all traveling as a group?
All
So
right,
they're all in the middle.
I'll put you guys in the
Somewhat.
staircase then here in front, and then I'll have them as a second group continue to follow you at a distance. All right, so you descend back down a level. If you recall, this is where you encountered the room with the feast. So you would have to exit. But from here, you don't see anything. You're in the room, but this is the level where the feast was.
All I can see is, okay, all
'Cause
I
you're-
see, and okay, so this is just one level down from where we were. Okay, gotcha.
What's your... Do you want to continue to descend? What floor are you trying to get to?
Yeah, we're trying to descend to what we assume was ground level to look for an exit on ground level.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Or
right.
search each. I think search each. I at least would want to search each floor for an exit. See if there's something hidden.
Okay.
Even the feast floor? The feast floor as well?
Hold on a second.
Probably the
Yeah, I guess
floor
not
that
this
you
one.
guys were thinking to start looking would be the laboratory floor.
Yeah.
So this floor here, let's have you all roll perception checks here as well,
Yes,
please.
get the beast in somehow.
Huh?
I gotta get the beast in somehow. I'm just talking to myself.
All right.
Um,
Perception. Okay, so yeah, Rekla, you get the sense that this is probably the best chance that you have is this floor of finding an exit that would be somewhat near ground level.
Okay.
So as you lead the kind of group off of here and start to look around, you remember there was this entrance that had a couple of goats in it. There were a couple of goats that were
oh, yeah.
trapped in here. You realize that they're actually in that space. There's actually a way that looks like there's a corridor or a door that's been blocked that you could potentially unblock.
Okay. So maybe we go at it with a little bit of crafting skill to see if we could. Maybe not crafting.
Yeah, I would take crafting as something because
Yeah.
I think that's a good.
Has to do with how it's made and if we can get it unblocked and okay.
Can I aid him in that?
Sure.
Sure.
So you're starting to try to disassemble this. Looks like it's been blocked off with multiple layers of things. And as you get the first layer of wood off, you start to see that they've put some brick and mortar in there. And then you start to chip away at that, and that there's some metal in there. And so it's like you get to the point where it's
It
just
escalates.
it's not working. You're shredding it, and it's not getting to a point that you feel like you're going to be able to open it.
Okay.
So you're struggling with that. But yeah, I would say that's probably, unfortunately, just not opening for you that way. What I'll say is that you assume that there may be other locations on this floor where there's a similar thing. But again, you might run into the same way it's been sealed
Same
shut.
issue of it being barred. Yeah. All right. Let's search the entire floor first, then, before we try to get through any more doors and try to identify every potential exit point.
Okay.
So I'll just start working my way like clockwise around the floor.
All right. If you all want to go ahead and roll again, another perception check here. Nice. Okay, so one thing you start to notice is how on the other side of the room, almost exact opposite, there's been some large furniture that's been moved against that wall. You start to suspect that it's in a similar location, and as you slide that stuff, you can see that there is another section of wall here that was probably prior a door. So if you want to attempt to aid and craft again, you could attempt to chisel away at this. See if you can't find a way for it to unbuckle. Ugh. Okay. Unfortunately, it's still just a little bit too difficult. There's just been too much effort and material used here to try with the current tools, the time that you have does not seem to be making much progress.
This is the ground or the bottom floor, right?
This is the level that you think is closest to ground level. Yeah. If you remember, the tower kind of sits up. There's like an area that the tower sits up on. So between two of the levels, there's some space, like a hill that this thing sits on. But this is the one that's closest to ground level. One other things you might recall would be that you do remember that there was potentially a way in or out through the water that was outside. That was another thing, right? That would obviously not be on this level. That might occur to you. And then, yeah, I think obviously what's ringing in your minds would be the fourth floor that you crawled through being the one way that you know that you were able to get in and out, but still dangerous.
Rather than doing a crafting check on this blocked up door, could I do a strength check with a hammer or a crowbar? Or in athletics, maybe? I have both.
You can continue to try to peel away at the material for sure. Yeah, if you want to try, I guess if you've got like a crowbar or something, that would give you a plus to this, but
I've got an idea.
Yeah.
What if we tried, I don't know, is there any water, any liquid around? I was thinking we could try freezing via magic the water on the bricks and see if the expanding ice would loosen it. And
I'll take a search for some water.
oh, you can do a
find nothing but dust.
Yeah, I think even at that point, like as you're looking around, you might notice that all of the liquid that was in the floor, all of that liquid that had been on the floor and looked like it had been being used, seems to all have been drained out of here. In other words, everything's emptied currently. So you can do an athletics check to try to force open, try to do a force open here.
Better brute
It's-
force this a little.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but that's not quite good enough. You get a +2 with a crowbar, and that's still not good
Yeah.
enough. You need a 28 or better on
Could I
this.
aid? Do we have a crowbar?
He did. He did. He had a crowbar.
I have a crowbar.
Yeah. So that's really a 26. And there you go.
I didn't have much hope for aid because I think it's only a +1.
That'd be +2. So that actually is enough.
Yeah.
That is enough.
Sweet.
Exactly.
So you do get this side over here where you're standing, Dallett, to crack, and it starts to reveal that shape of the door. It doesn't look like it's going to hinge open for you, though, unfortunately. So this is going to be a situation where you're going to have to blast it and just give it a big kick to knock it free. So from like the outside, it's going to look like the Kool-Aid man just broke in the room. But you've like basically revealed the whole template of the door by all the prying you've done. So if you want to kick this sucker open, it will definitely fall.
Try.
So I'll leave that to you to try to kick it open, or when you want to kick it open. There you go. And it will absolutely just, with a kick like that, it would kind of, it might fall open like a drawbridge and fall from the top down and reveals the outside of the tower. So you see at this point, let's see what time of day it is. It is daylight. So yeah, you get some sun shining in here all of a sudden.
Nice.
The hostages probably aren't in the room necessarily. They're still up by the stairs. So
I'm gonna immediately go up.
I won't have them run out the door, but you can imagine they're probably curious what the hell that sound was.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna immediately go up there and because I'm super excited to leave too. And yeah, all right, guys, we gotta wait. We gotta wait.
All right. So with that, they will start to follow down into the main open space here, and unless anyone's going to stop them, they're going to try to anxiously try to file through it. Is anyone else going through the door first, or we sending the hostages through?
I'll go through first.
All right.
Sydney's assuming we're all leaving, and unless somebody corrects her on that, that is what she is doing. And she is very excited to leave the building. She does not do confined spaces.
All right, so I'm going to put you, let's see, back here probably would be the right thing. 1 second.
What do you think, Dallett? Are we done
My
with the tower for
instinct is
now?
The more we leave loose ends, like we did with the what was it, the Lonely Barrow,
Yeah,
the more things are going to come back to haunt us.
I get that feeling too. I just wonder, how do we actually shut this place down? Because it sounds like they're going to be bringing in outside resources anyways.
Let's see.
I think more, at least information, is on the upper levels. We hit the grunts. The taskmasters were upstairs.
Yeah, that might be a fair point.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, and I think maybe even at that point the lizard folk warrior might even nod his head in agreement with you to some extent, because that's what he believes as well. The others are a little frantic and they'll file out and follow Sydney. The rest of you do as well, and you step out where you're at, your orientation, leaving the side of the tower on the water side in the daylight. And you do see that the tower is still continuing to produce some smoke, but the smoke has greatly depleted, and it's no longer big
Right.
black plumes of smoke. It's just some gray smoke that's hazy in the area coming from the building, and the embers, no doubt, that have been accumulating for a very long time here. But
Yeah.
let's see, as you exit, it's been probably around the 2-day mark since you've been in there. I'll give you a chance if you want to try to make contact with the kobold. that you left out here.
Yeah, who's the fastest? It's Sydney?
Sid-
Oh, yeah.
Sydney.
All right, Sydney, we're not done here yet, but we need you to go chat with the kobold, see if he's still there.
And I'm off. Sydney's excited to be in open spaces and being able to run in a straight line again.
How long would
Yeah.
it take to get back to the camp
What's that?
for Sydney? How long would it take for Sydney to get back to the camp?
She goes like 50 feet per action, right?
Yeah.
So you can do 150 feet
Yeah,
per
I
turn.
literally run like a horse.
Yeah, it'd take a few minutes, but it'd be much
Oh.
faster than anyone else.
I couldn't remember if it was half a day or something. I was wondering if we were going to have to camp again or hang out here.
No, the kobold you left in an area by a tree, kind of looking down on the tower. So it's maybe I'm thinking it's like a mile or so away, and it's something that you all know exactly where it's at. So you can all head in that direction. But Sydney, you'd get there first, and as you do get there, you would see. You'd almost it might just be perfect timing that you almost see like the kobold putting out his little fire and picking up his bag like he's ready to walk and
Just
go,
about to leave.
go tell everybody that you're all missing in the kill tube. And then you come up over the horizon and he looks in disbelief, just like you're alive.
Yeah, I will talk in Draconic with him. Yes, we've been inside and we escaped through the kill tube. We found a lot of survivors. We're going to need to bring them here to the camp for a little bit. Has there been any activity out here? What have you seen?
I saw during the night, I saw a winged creature take flight from the top of the tower.
And did it started at the
Flew-
tower or it
it-
landed in the tower and then took off?
It landed in the tower and then it left the tower during the night, and it came from the north. Yes.
Great job, Kobold. Jimmy.
And yeah, so he'll, with the news, then he'll quickly unpack everything and get the fire going again as if he's expecting visitors.
Yeah.
And he'll get ready, maybe some rations as well, ready for the flock that's coming. So the others, if you're making your way up to the camp, I assume you are. You can
I was
arrive.
gonna hang out because I assume we're going back in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we would have waited at the tower for Sydney to return.
So are you guys escorting the hostages up there, or
No, I think
Sydney?
we were gonna have Svetlana lead them up there.
Okay.
Say, Svetlana, follow Sydney's path, take the other hostages with you, and there will be a camp there that you can recover at.
Okay. So the two.
I'll tell the Kobold that they're coming so that he gets their attention and just hide in the bushes and watch them go by or something.
So I think what'll happen then is, from your point of view, for Dallett and Rekla, you'll see Sydney just bolting just off and out of your vision pretty quickly, and while the 6 hostages start to follow his direction slowly, eventually though you notice that a couple of the hostages peel off of the group and look
Sure.
like they want to go their own way. So
Yeah.
if you guys aren't intervening with that, 2 of them are gonna take off, and the other 4
Yeah,
are
no,
gonna
I think
follow.
it's understandable.
So the other 4 will follow. Eventually, they will catch up to a point that you can flag them down, Sydney, because I imagine the camp isn't so obvious that they could just stumble upon it. So as they get
Right.
up there, you can show them where the camp is, and they'll gladly take up rest out there. I think it might be interesting to see the kobold and the kobold united here, and even you might follow their conversation in Draconic that they don't know each other, right? And that they seem to be from 2 separate regions, these 2 kobolds. So that might be of interest. The other kobold seems to be like a northern kobold, a little bit out of place with the kobolds that you were used to in the Soot Scale area. But yeah, otherwise you've got now a lizard folk, you've got Svetlana, you've got 2 kobolds, one that's under your command and one that's a hostage you saved. Who else am I missing? You've got
The bandit
a
guy
logger and a
was-
bandit the logger and the bandit are the 2 that took off.
Gotcha.
And
There
so,
was 2 loggers, wasn't there?
yeah, so 1 logger's still with you. Yep. There you go. Yeah, Lager, Lizard Folk, Svetlana, Kobold. Those are the 4 that have joined your Kobold. All
And
right.
in what direction did the kobold say that the winged creature came in and flew off to? North,
North?
south? What was
North
it?
northwest. North northwest.
Thank you.
Okay. So after they're situated, Sydney, did you have any other instructions for your Kobold scout that's now in
I
charge of
will
the
let
nest
him
of
know.
hostages?
Yeah, no,
This is
I'll
like
just let him
this
know.
is a lot of responsibility, boss. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. This is all I had to do is keep my eyes
Svetlana's
open,
there.
and now I've got all these people.
Yeah, and I agree with all of it. I agree with all of it. I
All right,
really
I'll hold
am.
down the fort. I'll hold down the fort.
Yeah.
I'll keep my eyes
And I
open.
let them know to give us another like 48 hours or whatever, and then move on if we're not back in 48 hours.
All right.
But I expect us to be back sooner than that.
And I think one thing that's good about this was one of the camouflaged camps that you all had made, and I think you feel good about still where it's situated and everything. But with 4 of them, 5 of them now, eventually they could be detected. It could be easier to detect them. You might feel, Sydney, like that there's a little more urgency this time, like when you wouldn't want to take 2 days to come back, probably, just given
No, but I don't want
their
them
condition
leaving
too.
off into the world without us. So I gave 2 days just to make sure that there was ample time because that's what we used last time. But
Makes
yes,
sense.
Sydney has no interest in spending another 48 hours in the guild.
So, with that, you can head back down, I guess, to the meeting point where Dallett and Rekla await you.
I will, but I'm not gonna rush. You'll notice that she's
Yeah, just like
traveling the speed
slowly
of like normal elf and stuff.
strolling towards you.
Pretty casual.
But yeah, but eventually returns. So you all have your rogue back, as we'll say. What's next for you all?
Let's finish this kill tube off.
I'll let you know what everything that he told me about the flying creature and stuff like that. But otherwise, it sounds like it's been pretty safe up there.
Flying creature. So, pretty sure it's a dragon, right, everybody? We're all assuming it's a dragon, right?
Dragon, wyvern, some variation.
Chimera,
Uh,
something
Flying
along those
reptile.
lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. Let's maybe somebody on the top floor has an answer for us.
Yep.
All right, back
head back
in the
Sydney takes a moment to collect herself before she goes back in the tower.
all right. That is reasonable. That is reasonable. Let me move these out of here and move us back onto the floor. The goats have vacated as well, so now you've got a couple goats wandering the field outside. They saw the daylight too and couldn't resist, so they've wandered out as well. But otherwise, when you return, everything else is the same on the inside here. And I'll put you guys, back into the forge, the Chimera forge here, in marching order. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna sweep the tower and pick up loose ends.
Okay. Do you go down to do that first or up to do that first? Or is there some business here?
Did we have anything downstairs?
I don't think we've been below here, have we?
We
Guess
went
not.
one lower because
Here,
one
I'll
lower is
move you
where we
down
found
there
the
if you're
flames.
curious. So this might help to see.
Oh, yeah, where the guy's putting the wood in the fire. And where the wheel was.
Oh yeah.
And then we immediately exited after saving the folks.
Yeah, you
and
just
went
led
back.
the parade
Yeah.
through here, basically.
So the stair ends here. It doesn't go further down? Okay.
Yeah, let's
I
just
mean, I
head
get
up then.
we could end that skeleton's eternal
I mean,
servitude.
boss, if we're gonna be thorough, let's be thorough. We've
Yeah.
already seen that they've been boxing up walls and stuff, so let's check it out.
Let's
All
just
right.
put the whole thing out of commission.
All right, you going after him?
Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
to
Can we? He isn't aggressive to us, is he?
No, he's just basically on autopilot loading logs into
So we
the
essentially
fire.
get a sneak attack against him.
Yeah, you guys can all basically take a simultaneous sneak attack here. What we'll do, you can go ahead and roll initiative so we can see which order the damage comes in. Because all he can do is react. He's not going to have a initiative roll, but he will react. All right.
We get the fortitude save versus that.
Okay, so 2 action, disrupt undead. Basic savings throw, fortitude. Gotcha. Let's pull up this guy. Why isn't it? There we go. Oh, there you go.
Whoa.
Critical failure. It is enfeebled 1 for 1 round. It says
Yeah.
here. And it's lanced with 2d6, so you can.
11.
Okay. All right, boom. First, a disrupt undead is cast, and you see the skeleton jolt a little bit away from what it's normally doing. It's at that point turns and is facing in your direction now versus the fire. It will at that point grab a tool beside it that it uses to stoke the fire, and it will hurl this tool at you as a reaction. It's still part of its turn. You still have an action too, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, I don't. All right. He'll put up shield.
All right, perfect. All right. So he's gonna roll to attack here. Where's this? And this is. Sorry, 1 second. Here we go. All right, so he throws this thing. Looks like it would hit you, causing 14 points of piercing damage.
But that would go to the shield, right? It's got a hardness of 10. And then I've got the cosmos thing, which means I don't take any damage.
2 plus half would get rid of the rest, so perfect.
Yeah.
But you do have a hot poker sticking in you right now. So at least it may not be uncomfortable, but it probably looks unusual. That's the first thing that he does. The second thing he does is gonna reach down and grab another, like a log grabber that's near him. He's
Right.
gonna raise that up as if he's going to defend himself now. So, Dallett, your attack, you can go ahead and go.
I will step in, get out of the way of spells right now, and make one attack.
That'll hit. And
then for my second one, I'll do the combat grab.
all right, you grab a hold of this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if that's a smart move or not. Nah, doesn't look like that hits though.
Okay, but you still got a hold of this skeleton now. And Sydney, you're up.
Oh no, I only grab him if the strike hits.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you did. I thought you hit. Okay, I missed that. I gotcha. So I thought you did it in reverse. He's not grabbed, but he did take the 14. Okay. What do you got, Sydney?
I am going to, if there's like a chunk of wood, good sized chunk of wood that had fallen off to the side or whatever and is now unattended on the ground, I'm gonna flip that shit up into his face and see if I can take the spell clear off.
Oh, this is, yeah. Okay, so this thing's head just flies off of his body after it gets smacked with this log, It just almost like animates and just swings at his head and clears it right off his shoulders. I'm even going to say that it just knocks his skull into the fire pit as the rest of his body just slumps down onto the ground, animated.
Nice.
I'm gonna look around like, what did happen? Where'd that come from?
But yeah, so the threat of the fire poker is subsided, and so this skeleton is dead.
All right, that's one floor cleared.
Sydney,
right.
Sydney, with her fast movement speed, is gonna just quickly do a perimeter around the wall, tapping on it, just to see if she feels any like hollow spots or anything like that.
Go ahead and let's have everybody do perception checks here.
And I will have detect magic up while I do this, but I'm pretty sure I detected magic down here, so I don't think that's gonna
So
do anything.
yeah, so as you're looking in, I think one thing that's really unnatural to you that you start to notice is that the wood piles seem like they're seeping into the room from the ground, as if they're just flowing through mud. It's not happening fast, but it's almost as if the ground is
Like I can
uncovering,
watch the logs like rise up.
like they're just slowly appearing, and you could eventually reach down and grab that log that a few minutes ago seemed as if it was under the ground. That's something that you would all probably eventually notice, some of you sooner than others. I think Rekla, though, or actually, yeah, Rekla, you have crafting. I think you start to connect some ideas that perhaps disabling some of the moving parts on this floor might help with slowing that. In other words,
like the wheel.
the wheel.
It doesn't detect as magical.
No, it doesn't. No. I wouldn't say that any of it's really magical. There might be, yeah, it might be more like magical in nature, but none of the actual things are magical.
All right, so maybe we want to destroy that wheel.
Yeah. Can we? It's a pretty big wheel, isn't it?
Move you guys into here. Yeah, it's pretty
It's basically
large.
one of those things with the bars that they push, right? Is that what?
It is, and this device is what Sydney you would see is emanating the magic. So
What does it look like it's made of? Is it wooden? Is it metal?
It is stone.
Stone wheel.
Is there anything around the room that we could use to gum up the works? Anything pieces of metal we can throw in the right places?
Yeah, so the center of the spoke of the wheel is stone. The spokes are wooden. You could potentially tip it over if you removed enough of the spokes. You could maybe tip it over, you feel like. Other than that, you might be able to obstruct it, right? Jam it, wedge it, something like that. But there's a couple ways you feel like you could probably make it pretty difficult to use again. Outside of breaking it, which you're not exactly sure how you would break it. It's being a large piece of stone, but tipping it over
let's work on tipping
be...
it over. That's a pretty good one.
Let's say I do have a hatchet too, so I can chop at those.
So what we can do here is a group athletics check. And if you guys can, depending on how much you can exceed this by, you can basically attempt to break it while moving it on its side, if that's something you're wanting to do. So who has the best athletics?
I have plus 13.
Okay, so the others, you roll yours as aids to him. Wow. So you guys at a certain point he almost just might be like, just leave it to me. Just leave it to me for a second. And just could you grab that for me in the corner there and then as you turn around, just like suddenly Dallett like knocks this thing on tips it over, is able to get the leverage just by himself to tip this over, and with it you hear a really loud thundering crash as this thing smacks into the ground. I am going to roll and see if
Oh,
it
right, there is that.
saves or not. Let's see. So this thing chips and breaks into 3 different pieces at this point as it tipped over. Underneath the crank, it looks like there is a hole in the ground, a shaft that's about maybe 2 feet wide, and it seems to go down into the ground. If you guys want to take a closer look at it, you can roll perception here to see.
Can't see nothing.
Yeah, and that's true to an extent. None of you can see anything, but Sydney, you might get the bright idea to drop a pebble or something down and you hear it splash. And it's not too far below you, maybe 20 to 25 feet below you, that this pebble hits the water and makes a splashing sound. So,
That's good to know.
Feels like that might be near the water entrance that we knew about.
Yeah.
You said it's split into 3 pieces. Are any of the 3 pieces small enough to fall down this hole or to get pushed down this hole into the water?
Oh,
yeah, I
We don't
think
have to do
so.
all of them, but if we
Yeah.
could just get one piece down there, they can't fix it.
yeah.
Yeah, I would.
So Sydney
say.
will make an attempt to move it with my -1 athletics, and failing that, I will try to get Dallett's attention and be like, "Hey, boss, I got an idea.
Just-
Why don't we throw this chunk down there? Then they can't fix it no more."
I think Dallett would watch you struggle for a minute with the rock, probably.
I'm not even gonna roll it. It's a -1 athletics on training.
There you go. Get something down there.
I was giving aid.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, you can get one of the pieces through the hole and get it to fall down there, and you hear a splash as this thing chunks down into the water below you, and it makes you realize that it's definitely falling into a pretty large body of water. It's not falling into a puddle.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, so whatever it is deep enough to have absorbed the rock, because it makes that kind of splashing sound. Yeah, so you've distributed one of the 3 pieces.
Cool.
Okay. Do we want to put
Are we-
the rest of them down there or just leave them as is?
They ain't gonna fix it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the more noise we create, the more chance for stirring something up. We don't even know what's down in that water or whatever that
Oh,
area
yeah.
is. Yeah, maybe we should leave that as is now and start headed up.
Sounds good to me.
I'm good with that.
Everybody's
See what hurt us. Break
content.
the stone.
You're content with your vandalism completed on this floor?
I am curious about how that water entrance works and like what's under there, but at the same time, I feel like we've got bigger fish to fry.
You're not
in the
really in need of having to go in there yet for any
Yeah.
reason,
Yeah.
but
I mean, we can go check it out, boss. I pull out the little like Everlight crystal. We can go look.
tower. We will later. Later.
Oh god.
it could be lowered in.
We live here now.
Let's see.
Oh god.
All right, so you
Sydney's
guys
starting to get more concerned again.
go back to the staircase. At this point, you guys can ascend up a level. So you're back to the forge level. Nothing's different
Yeah.
here, so I assume you're gonna press on
Continue on, yeah, up.
because you had already cleared this to your.
And then was this the feast room?
Yes, this would be the room with the Ergothoan feast. That
Yeah, I feel badly taking the guy out when he's enjoying his meal, but I think we got to clear the place.
all right. So you guys are gonna head off the
Can't
staircase
seem
here.
to get in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move you in. I think it's.
Yeah, I think we have to be moved in
got
there.
you locked behind that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna take some time on this level in particular, looking around in the boxes and stuff for other cool Ugathoan artifacts and stuff that maybe I didn't catch. Maybe they're not magical. I don't know. But I have this expectation that we're not coming back through here. And I don't really feel like there's a huge threat from the dude. So I'm definitely taking the time to pull open a couple boxes as we walk by and see any Ugatho and stuff to go with the
Yeah,
other Ugatho
I got
I
you.
got.
I got you. So if let me open this door, it would be more this way. So as you are, I'm gonna move you guys to where I think that would be most interesting. It's in this space here
Yep,
that you
that's the exact
see
room I was thinking of.
a
Yep.
bunch of just not just supplies, but definitely to your point, Ergothoan cult supplies, things that would be of interest to them, including some texts that would be related to their following. You would see some garb here, probably some other vessels that would look appropriate for rituals, and I think even then probably some supplies that match things or saw out on the table, some goblets, some plates, some
Sure.
And I
plateware,
got a
that
little
kind of
bit of
stuff.
stuff. Like I got the holy symbol and I grabbed that magical Ugathoan cup and stuff.
Yeah,
But I definitely want
yeah.
to have some of the other
Yeah, so
stuff
if
on
you,
it.
if you want to grab texts, there are a handful of texts here, books
I
related to
think Rekla
Urgatho.
wouldn't let that lie either. If we can get intel on these people, it'd be great.
Okay, so you guys can grab a total of 5 books out of here. Again, the if the feastware is of interest, it has some value, but it's definitely a little probably not in the taste that you or people that you know would be so inclined.
Right.
But that, and then again, if you were trying to look like an Ergothoan, there's enough garb here that you could maybe pull that off. I'll say that.
Maybe we should have disguises for everyone just in case in the future it would come in handy. We don't necessarily have
Yeah.
to put them on now. So maybe everybody grabs
Mm,
themselves a disguise and we get one for Fenwarden too.
okay.
And maybe just an extra one because you never know who's going to come along for the ride.
You have your hostages too, that so you'd have enough to cover them. I'll put that in here. Ergothoan robes. And then the holy symbol, yeah. So those are really the things of most noteworthiness in this storage room. The rest of it is probably disgusting, just rancid stuff and things
Yeah,
that you would find to be wretched and disposable.
useless.
But yeah, I think as
Although
you're
if
going
it
through things in here, you might even hear like some singing coming from the next room. From
I
the
actually like
lonely skeleton who sits at the feast alone, waiting for his company to join him. And you might even hear him tapping the table at first because he knows someone's near, and even then starts
Mhm.
singing or humming an eerie tune.
I kind of like them. Maybe we keep them. What do you guys think? We gonna take them out?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I
All
mean,
right.
he's not good, boss.
All right, I'm going to let you all enter the room. And as you do, he will raise a goblet to you. Please join me.
I have that
Welcome
magical cup
back.
yet, and I'll raise it up to him, and I'll walk to the far side of the table slowly, and then sit down at the table like I'm going to join him while everyone else is getting in position. Basically, try to get his attention while everyone else gets into
Yeah. Oh,
position.
yeah. If
And
you're
you can
standing across from him raising the goblet, he's absolutely just, if there's such a thing as emotion on a skeleton, he's the happiest one you've seen. With that, I'll go ahead and bring this up, this little turn order thingy, and let you guys
Ooh,
file
let
in.
me hurt him. Let me hit him. Oh, that's a perception roll. I've had this set. Oh no,
Initiative
that's right.
perception. Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
other things with initiative if you wanted to.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think the ward has that on stealth or something.
All right, so we've got you guys in order now.
Yeah, actually, I guess given what I did, mine would actually be a deception roll, right? because I'm using deception to get
That is
into their
true. That is true. Exactly. Exactly. It's flavorful to do stuff like that, to switch it
I
up
also
based on your
get
action.
also since I rolled, I guess, deception to start, I will everybody's -2 AC against me until I act. Or until they act.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you'll go.
Because I have surprise attack
I'll have
from
you go
the
second. Actually, no. I'll move you back to where you were. Okay. So Rekla, you can act first.
All right, he's gonna hit him with the classic disrupt undead. Man, I don't roll very good damage for this one.
Keep getting those ones.
Just 1/1. Okay. So it's fortitude for him. I might need to keep this character sheet open for a minute. Okay, so it's not a critical failure, but it is a failure, so you will take the 13 point total. Got it. Okay.
And then final action, we'll do the shield.
All right. Rekla has gone. It is Dallett's turn. I would say that as you hit this thing with the spell, obviously you're sitting in its scene, if you will, and so disrupting it doesn't seem to not only does it disrupt the skeleton and seem like it affects the skeleton, but it almost looks like the table is like crumbling a little bit, as if it's a part of him.
Gotcha.
So the scene is being attacked and breaking. Dallett, you're up.
Step into his space. Attack him. Ooh. Let's see what.
Yikes. The Aldori sword. That was fixed.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Just got that.
The reforged.
Just had it fixed. Now you've got an Aldori dagger again.
Alright. This is why I have that other short sword. Alright.
I think you would get a cackle out of this skeleton from just even though it has no emotion.
I'll take a step back then. Step back in shock.
Damn it. Dropped my blade.
That's the end of my turn.
All right, Sydney. You see this unfolding here.
Oh, wait a minute. Can I hero point that?
Go for it.
Okay.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah.
I like having my sword. There we go.
Wow,
Alright.
that is a critical hit.
Okay.
Which is only one more
I'm
point of
good with
damage,
that.
but it's... Oh, actually, you can roll on the crit hit table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change my fortune.
Serious head wound, knocked out. Let's just go ahead and call his head detached here. So he's not knocked out, but his head and his body are now two separate things.
Okay.
Both animated still, but one looking at the other. Nice. Okay, so you've used your hero point, but the others, you still have yours too, so don't forget those. Go ahead, Sydney.
If there's something heavy on the table right next to wherever the skull landed on the ground, I'm going to use telekinetic hand to just gently push that off the table and onto the skull now on the ground.
Yeah, you could do that. You could try to, you could definitely try to have something animate go towards the skull. Just trying to think of what might be, maybe even like a chair or something like that.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. The chair, an unattended chair. I just
All right. Perfect.
Flip it over on top of the skull.
All right, so he is gonna see 27.
And I'm gonna do it as I raise my glass. I'm gonna do my little seal spell thing so it doesn't look like I'm doing a spell for him, so he doesn't know it's me.
So make a deception check too. What are you gonna be saying in your toast?
It is a toast to his return to the Lady of Decay.
All right, got you.
And may you meet the Lady of Decay. and send her my regards.
All right. The skeleton now is gonna get a turn here. I think the jovial kind of happy-go-lucky skeleton time is over, and now you've thrown a switch in this thing, and it goes from this harmless-looking animated host to now a furious undead shamble because it's in two parts. And so the very first thing this thing does is respond quickly to the toast to say, "Do not mock the Lady of Decay. You will pay for your insolence." And leans over, the body leans over and picks up its own head, right? So it has its head now in one hand, and in the other hand, it still has a goblet. And it throws the fluid from its goblet in your direction across the table, Sydney.
No.
So, see, you can roll a reflex save. Do you want to hero point that?
Yeah, we're getting towards the end of the night. We're trying to catch his.
Okay,
and
you wanted to hero point that. That is good. Okay, so the 20 passes this. You're not going to take as much damage from this. But this stuff, when it hits your skin, and it barely hits your skin because you do a decent job of avoiding the majority of the fluid, it burns like hell. And it seems like it's eating away at your skin in spots where it landed. And it causes you 2 points of damage. Let's see. That is it for our friend here. So we're back to Rekla.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Rekla, you need to roll reflex save too.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So you take 2 points of damage only, as well.
What was that?
From
the physical?
It's from his. It's acid,
Oh, his
basically.
cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had a drink
Okay.
thrown in your face.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
talking dwarven levels of alcohol. It burns on contact.
I think Rekla will probably say something like, "I hate to tell you, but the Lady of Despair no longer exists." And try and hit him with a crisis of faith.
Will DC? Let's see how this one works. I don't know. He doesn't have a great will. Okay. So he's gonna take 12 points of damage here. Mental. Okay.
And I guess,
Damn.
does it cast
Dude,
divine
look at your
spells?
roll for damage on the Crisis of Faith. That's
Right?
horrific.
I've been rolling a lot of ones.
3 1. It's a
Fine.
66, and you rolled 3 1s, a 2, a 3, and a 4. That's wild. Okay. All right. But anyway, you did cause him some concern about the Lady of Decay here. His party has been spoiled. Not only has his party been spoiled, but now his deity is no longer, and he's falling apart, literally. What else you got?
And then final action will be the shield again.
Okay, shields up. Dallett.
Alright. Step back in. Attack with the sword. Don't do that again.
Okay. Yeah, so this thing shatters into many shards of bone as it flies about the room. Head as well. Spraying more widely than the drink. This is now a defeated creature. The table, you notice as the creature is killed that the table also cracks and falls over as if it was
Linked.
magically linked to him, and reveals the fact that it's just this old dilapidated table. It was not a grand looking thing as it appeared to you. So, yeah, you're now sitting looking at this grim space, no longer amused by its contents, probably.
He was annoying anyways. All right.
He was a bit much. He was a bit
He was
much.
a bit much.
Yeah, yeah.
Just had really poor taste in food, really.
Yeah.
If the food was better, I'd have been like, I could have put up with his shtick, but
Yeah, he needed probably, I don't know if kobolds would have as much of a problem with his diet, but
yeah.
everyone else would. But yeah, so you guys clear this.
All right, and we'll do like a cursory search just to make sure we're not missing anything
Yeah, I think
of interest.
again, just on closer look, it's just the goblet that he was holding. That would have been the one thing that you would have left behind before.
Yeah.
You had snagged another goblet when you were in here before. There were two matching goblets, one that he would hold and one that would sit across from him. You guys can grab the whole pair now.
Do you want the pair, Sydney?
Sure, I'll take the other one. Sure.
Who knows when they could come in handy or
No.
what their real use is.
You seem to be collecting Ugathoan stuff, so.
Careful.
I know, you guys are like making a museum to Urgathoa.
So from your
Well, I mean, I technically had that like backstory or whatever. So I was, if we ever get back to Brevoy, I might have somebody that's interested in this stuff.
True. Okay.
Head upstairs.
Back to the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. Put you in the staircase.
one level at a time.
Clear, clear. All right. Put you guys back in the stairs. Go ahead and do a perception check here, please. As you're ascending this level. Once again, Dallett with a freaking 20.
That's 3 critical perception checks.
Yeah.
I've had 3 critical fails on perception checks, so I'm glad you're in there.
Yeah, there's a little role reversal on who's got the best ears here.
Yeah.
Dallett, this is going to be familiar to you. This was almost identical to where you were standing before when you overheard the conversation coming from up above. Once again, you get up here again, the same level, and you hear, at that similar distance, you hear Xandros' voice. And you hear him, what you assume to be him giving commands or orders. It sounds like his voice only. So it's very crystal clear to you. The others, you guys might hear it, but you can't make out, what it is, and you don't know who it is. But immediately, Dallett knows.
Okay. I'll turn back and whisper to them, Xandros. And point up.
And it does sound like there's some movement up above you, as if some things are being moved around, like wooden crates might be getting dragged around, would be the way I would describe that. Everybody hears that. But through that, you can hear that voice and make it out. So yeah, you get back to this level, looks very much the way you left it. And so nothing really here much to clear, I don't think.
All right.
Gonna head up? All right.
From here, can I stealth?
Yes. Yes. So for anyone that wants to join in the stealth, go ahead and do that.
I'm super excited about stealth, yes.
All right. Very nice. So you guys make your way up that next level, and as you creep up there, a Spriggin across the room, feverishly moving things around. He is down here. I'll ping him as you get up to this level. This is the first time you've been back up here, I think, since you first entered the tower. It looks like a lot of different things have been moved in here. When you first came in, the way things were stacked and arranged, it was pretty full. And the way that you see it now, it looks like things have been either moved out of here or removed, or it just looks like there's less in here and things have been shuffled. With that, you guys have surprise at this point on this one. You could continue past it, or you could interact.
Is that Jimmy, our friend that introduced us and dragged us all the way down into the bottom and everything like that?
This is not that same looking one. They look alike. They look alike, but this doesn't appear to be the same exact one.
Okay.
The reason you remember that one too is because of the way he was dressed, and he seemed to be like a guard. He seemed to be a
Right.
Spriggin guard, and this Spriggin does not appear to be dressed in the same type of armor as if he had a different job.
Okay.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. I need to use the bathroom real quick, and then we'll come back and I'll let you guys decide if you're gonna act on this level or if you want to move up a level, whatever you want to do.
Sounds
So
good.
we'll be right back.
Cool.
Hey, Gurgur. Can someone say hi? You come say hi. Oh, hello. Big sweetie boy.
Alrighty. So what are you two thinking? You want to head up or smash it?
I think we got to clear. We've been clearing everything, so
I'm gonna follow the bosses, but that's actually my personal opinion as well.
They might as well clear.
All right.
yeah.
Let me then pop our Turner back in, and I'll throw our guy in there, and have you guys roll. All right, go ahead. You guys have the stealth in your favor right now, so however you want to proceed.
Let's see. Rekla is going to try and stealthily move to a different position. Let's see. From the landing, he can get 25 feet, so he's going to try. This is the first action. I'll roll stealth, but I'm gonna try to get right there. Is this a table or a pillar or a barrel or?
Barrel.
Okay, so he's gonna try and take cover right there. Gonna do it terribly, being stealthy. And then I guess it doesn't matter about stealth because he's just gonna attack anyways. Well, he's gonna draw his wand of magic missiles. And I guess actually, because each one is an action, so I think he'll end his turn. Yeah, there's really no other action that I think he wants to take, so he'll just end his turn.
So you're moving in, hiding, drawing the wand.
The wand.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Dallett.
The guy we have jump on is like right here, right? Cool. I'm gonna move. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna move to him and use my sudden charge feat to get an attack in.
Okay. Yikes. Okay, that's definitely a hit.
Nice. And then I will take a second attack and do.
He will become large after that strike. You hit him,
Cool.
you'll see
Okay,
him
that's
get
fine.
large.
Okay, I'll do the combat grab. Since we're doing a second attack anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that'll hit. 12 more
Cool.
and you got him grabbed. Okay.
Yep.
Alright, so he's grabbed. I'm gonna put him like that. Okay.
And just in case the largeness has some weird modifiers on it so that he can break free, do you have Titan Wrestle?
Ooh, that's cool.
For just this
That's
occasion.
actually amazing. Go ahead and roll a perception check also, Dallett.
Okay.
Titan Wrestler, that's an awesome feat.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, if that's it, then I think we're Sydney's turn.
Sydney does not want to be on the stairs, just in case something comes down. So I am going to run to that spot right there.
Okay.
I have my crossbow out. I am going to shoot my crossbow.
Okay, gotcha. Roll a perception check to Sydney once you after this. Yeah, thanks. All right, that's a hit. That's 2 damage, 2 piercing damage. That's crazy. 1d10. Oh, okay. So you definitely hit him. When you were running by and again focused on this guy, you saw out of the corner of your eye that there's looks like another Spriggin over in here that kind of would have been noticeable to you. So I'll let you decide on this action if what you want to do, if anything.
Yeah, I'll yell, "This one's not the only one!" And then I'll start reloading. I'll use my one action to reload my crossbow.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So with that, the bully Spriggin here, who is been enlarged by Dallett, is going to try to break free, I guess. It's got to do, what is this, athletics versus athletics or something like that.
Athletics versus, or it's an unarmed attack against my athletics DC, I think, which is 13.
Okay.
Is that right? Hold on. You'd think I'd know this by now.
I know we've done this a bunch and I always forget, but
I Google it every time we play.
Maybe add a note somewhere.
At least it's not 3.5 or first edition Pathfinder grapple rules. We'd be here all night.
yeah.
Yeah, it is unarmed attack against the DC, the athletics DC of the creature grabbing. Yeah, 13.
So unarmed attack for him. I'll just roll 220 for now. Okay, so it looks like he got it. So he breaks free of the grab, and he's going to reach into his pouch and pull something out, and looks
Is that
like
gonna provoke?
he looks like he is.
I'll take an attack of opportunity while he's doing that.
Yeah, go ahead and take one. It looks like he pulls out something that lights a fire, and he has lit a fire here beside him. I'm gonna. So he has reached over and lit this thing up that's next to him that he was trying to move around, and is now looks like he's either trying to destroy it or just cause complete chaos. But in the midst of it, you will be able to take a reflex save, both Sydney and Dallett. You need an 18 or better. Okay, so you don't take any damage here. Sydney, you're able to jump back. Dallett, you do take a couple points from this flame, because when he lights this thing, it lights fast. And I think at that point you might notice that what he was pushing around seems to be some liquids that are now engulfed. And you're going to take, it's not much, but it's okay. Maybe it's the best he could do is 7 points of damage from the searing heat that's just suddenly picked up. The other thing here that he's going to do is he's going to try to grab his Morning Star. So he's going to reach down and try to grab his Morning Star and lift that up. So he's got that ready for next round. The other Spriggin that was back here is now been triggered as well, and you see he steps forward and it looks like he does a similar action to his friend. He lights a fire right here. Both, again, Dallett and Sydney needs to do reflex saves. You got heat coming from both sides on you. They're trying to cook you. That definitely passes. That does not. So, Sydney, you're going to take 8 points of damage. Jesus, that's the most they can do here. Yeah, so you take 8 points of damage from this heat. It's starting to get really hot and smoky in here pretty quickly from what they're lighting up. This other one, after lighting this, is going to start heading this direction towards the stairs, making it pretty much almost to the staircase itself before their turn is ended. And it's Reckless' turn.
Rekla is going to target the one that's running towards the stairs and unleash all 3 of the missiles.
Okay. Thwack, thwack. 3 missiles hit. This thing grows now in size to a large size as it absorbs these magic missiles. Is that an action each?
Isn't that how it works? I'm not exactly sure how a wand and
I don't
versus a
think
casting the spell works.
No, I don't think that's how that works. I think they're charged, right? So it's it's like exerting a charge isn't.
So I would have to basically spend an action to exert one charge, right?
I think it's like a let me validate. I thought it was like you choose like
To expend that many
yeah,
charges
let me double
in an
check though.
action. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how wands
One
function.
action, one missile. Okay, yeah, it is. No, you're right. You had it right.
Okay.
So it's 1 use per day unless modified as well.
Oh,
That's
so
interesting.
you could only cast it?
Once per day, you can only. It says you can only use. What does it say? 1 use per day unless modified or overcharged. So I guess that means. I don't know what that means. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, you've hit him with all 3 of them. That's your turn.
Yeah.
Dallett.
All right. I'm going to attack this guy again. You know what? Before I attack him, actually, I'm going to try to do a trip on him, which is my athletics. It's an athletics check against his reflex save.
Okay.
Yep.
Ooh.
He's going to be 25. Yep, perfect. Or he's prone. Now I'm going to attack him.
All right. Move him to prone. Okay. And wow. Okay, that's not critical, but it's still a hit. Okay. Yeah, hit him pretty hard. He's feeling it for sure. He's still upright, but he's taking some damage now. Go ahead.
Another attack. Trying to finish him off.
That's a hit. He's low. He's low. He's that with that hit, he's now really wobbly, not looking too strong anymore. That's for sure. But he's still up. Anything else?
Nope, that's my turn.
All right, Sydney.
So this was the level that had the window. If I remember correctly, the window's on
Yeah.
this over here.
Yep. Yep.
And the thing he lit on fire, is it on casters? Is it like a wagon? What is it, a crate? What is it?
It looks
Filled
like
with liquid.
it's crates. Looks like it's crates. All the stuff in here
It's
is pretty
crates
much crates or
filled with
barrels.
liquid.
Yeah. This whole level is like crates and barrels. Just moved around.
Yeah. Okay. If I move to this spot, will I be away enough from the fire to not keep getting burned by it? And I'm assuming it's still burning, right?
It's pretty hot there, so standing in the squares adjacent
Oh,
to
there's
the
another fire.
on-fire objects will continue to potentially have an effect. You'd need to put a space between yourself and any flaming object.
And this isn't enough to the space, this little square right here.
No, because you're diagonal to this.
Oh, there's okay. I just can't see it. Got it.
Let me see what you can see. Okay, yeah, that's why. Yeah, you
Oh,
can
you're good. I know you said that there's one over there. I can feel the heat. I just don't know exactly what square it's in.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
fine.
know how
That's
to reveal it, to be
I'll go to
honest
this
with
square right here. Alright. So I am going to move through here to there. What's going on right here? Is that another window?
you. I'm gonna remove that so you can see. That's a window. Yep.
Okay.
That's a window. There's one
So I will
across from
take an
it.
action to move there. I need one more action to reload my crossbow, so I'll take that action as I'm moving or when I get there or whatever. And then I will shoot said crossbow into the almost dead guy. Hopefully, the prone almost dead guy
Got it.
next to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove a couple of these things so it's easier for you guys to see through the room too. Just because at this point it's lit up, so there's not much hidden. All right. Okay. That is a hit.
2 more damage.
2 more damage. Oh my gosh. All right. This guy's got 1 hit point left.
It is my turn. That's all 3 actions.
All right. So he's got 1 hit point and he is prone. I think he's going to try to get up off the ground. As he does,
I'm going to take an attack of opportunity on that.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Just, yeah, there we go. That will,
we go.
exactly. So as he's trying to get on all fours and stand, it's just tea time
The coup
for
de grace.
Dallett. This one is obliterated, but I think you do notice that the fire is spreading a bit. Both sides here, these are growing quite a bit. The other one is now fleeing up the stairs. So it's going to step into the stairs and then up and out of your sight. You do hear it, some screaming as it does that, and it is yelling and running up the stairs. That will bring us back to Rekla.
I don't really have anything I can do to put fire out. And I'm not going to go running up the stairs by myself.
I will happily take point on the stairs.
Yeah, why? I
That's
think
from-
Rekla will basically get to the entrance to the stairs and wait.
Okay.
Wait for the whole crew.
Dallett, you gonna do the same? Head that way?
Yeah, I'll head straight to the staircase and try to catch up with the Spriggin.
All right, so you can go straight up. Let's see, if you're going up,
I think I have
then you
another
can make
segment of movement.
1, 2, 3. So yeah, I'll move you up to what you see when you. I won't move you off the stairs, so that way you can react if you don't want to go off the stairs. But you get
Okay.
up here to the landing at the top of the stairs, and you see the Spriggin, and you look in a Urgathoan cultist standing in the center of the room as well. You now are at the top of the stairs, so the stairs do not ascend any further. And the room itself, outside of these 2 figures, just seems to have other boxes and storage items clustered in the corner of it. So that's your initial view. You basically would have spent 2 actions getting to this point. So if you want to use your last action.
Yeah, I guess we'll try to attack the Spriggin.
Okay.
He's
Go for it.
Is he within range? Okay.
Yeah, he's
So I might have
he's
to move then.
pretty much right there by your reach. Yeah. Yikes. The
Damn it.
let's hope it doesn't become a dagger again. Shield strap. I think you're okay with that. I think you're pretty good with that one. All right. All right. Then you've made your appearance at the top floor. Do you want to use a free action to shout anything down or say anything to your party?
I'll just say I only see a cultist of the Spriggin.
Okay. All right. So, Sydney, you hear Dallett yelling from up the staircase now?
Yep. I'll go up the staircase. I have 50 foot of movement, and it's 25. Can I get over this
So
stuff?
yeah,
Is
so
this stuff gonna block me?
you'll be able to get to the top. Let me move you to where Dallett is, and you'll have 2 actions from this position right here. Right there you are.
Man, I really want to do it. Really want to do it. I'll not blast Dallett.
Crossed
I can
his
take a
mind.
lead.
It's a nice line right there, though. I will just instead of going for a big zap, I'll go for a little zap. Oh, sorry, wrong one. That's the little zap.
You meant the little zap. Okay. The
Little
little zap.
zap. Little.
7 arc for a reflex. Okay, let's see.
And that'll arc to both of them.
Oh, this is cool. I get to open.
I'm gonna give him a little zap.
Okay, so it looks like the Spriggin failed. So he'll take the full amount. 7 points to the Spriggin. And Xandros passed his. So he doesn't take any? Or did he take half? Okay.
That's my turn.
Got it. Got it. All right. So the Spriggin is up now. And he is probably in shock that you guys are so bold to chase him up here, but he will stand his ground at this point. He won't run further. He's going to return fire to Dallett, who is right next to him, with his Morning Star.
That
And
hits.
12 damage with the bludgeoning weapon. Let's see, with that, he is going to... What is this called? Oh, interesting. Let me pull up Archive of Nethys here real quick. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. This is what I was looking for. His second and third actions, he's going to be using dancing lights. Okay, so
Huh.
what he is gonna do, I'll just put on the screen here where he's gonna put a couple of glowing bulbs. Ellipse. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. All right, and then 1 second. Last thing. Yeah, the lights that you see are like almost humanoid shaped, just so that you realize that they look like they're almost Spriggins to you. Smaller ones, not the big one like him, but so it's odd that they're starting to glow now and you see these things there. But that's it for the Spriggin. And let me add our buddy to the turn order here. Okay. All right, Xandros' turn. He is going to, with his first action, he's going to step over here to the corner, and it looks as if he pulls something out with his second action, and he's waiting for something, so he's not, he's done with his turn. Rekla, all right. Everyone's run out of here. We'll say that the fires have pretty much started to engulf this southern part of the room. They're spreading because of
Yeah.
the crates.
They can have it. So
We need to
yeah,
get
I'll
out too.
go
Remember, guys.
upstairs, join them
Okay.
upstairs.
All right, so I'll move
I can
you
move
up, and then you'll have
25 and
2 actions from this spot
okay.
right there. These orbs are the humanoid
The dancing
shaped
lights.
lights.
Gotcha.
Xandros is across the room.
Yeah, he is 35 feet away from me. Oh. All right. All right. I think he's gonna just go ahead. Attack with searing light. Attack Xandros.
Blazing ray of light. Okay. This is
Jeez.
miss.
Critical damage is insane.
Yeah. I'm gonna hero point that attack.
Nice.
I hit?
19 is a miss, fortunately.
All right. That's 2 actions, so that would end his turn.
Okay. All right, Dallett.
Okay. I'm just going to attack the Spriggin again. I think I'll do the same thing I did last time where I try to trip first.
So this was
Before he has
against
bad
his
reflexes.
reflex. There you
Yes.
go.
Alright, cool. And then I will attack.
That's a hit. That's right on the button.
Cool. And then I will attack again.
Hit. Okay, so 16 total.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely bloodied here after that round. Okay. And think that is it. So it should be Sydney next.
All right, what Sydney's going to do is Sydney is going to just run straight to this square. Since I'm not going to step on him, so I'll go here for 20. Then there's 25. So that's 45 to 50 movement. But I am going to, first action, move right here. And then whatever Xandros pulled out of his hand or her hand or whatever, I am going to try and knock out of their hand. I'm going to try and take it and knock it out of their hand.
Okay. It looks like he's got a wand in his hand.
Okay. I'm gonna try. I got a crossbow in my hand, and I'm gonna try and just whack it out of his hand.
Okay, so this is like a check to disarm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. It's kind of like a called shot type of thing. So it's one action
no
to
idea.
disarm. It's athletics against reflex. Okay, so you can do an athletics check.
We go try for my first action.
Okay, and then he gets a reflex against this. Is that a...
Have you hero pointed today?
He did.
That's a 15 on the dice, baby.
Yeah, it's a -1.
-1 athletics.
Let's see, d20 plus, what is this? Reflex. I guess it's the same as this. Okay. Yeah, he rolled a 19 anyway. So he's able to evade your disarm attempt.
Okay. I have one action left. And let's see here. With I'm just gonna make another attempt at it. I'm just gonna try again. I know it's probably not gonna work out, but
Go
I'm
for it.
not committed. Maybe he rolls a 1.
Ooh,
Oh,
So a
I
19.
got an extra 20.
Yeah.
there we go.
That's gotta count for something.
Oh, unfortunately,
Oh,
unfortunately not enough to get it
that'd be an
disarmed,
honest
though.
success.
It's my turn.
Okay. All right. So we're back to the Spriggin. The Spriggin is pretty much just in combat with Dallett at this point, but he's prone, so he's got to try to get himself off the ground.
I'll take the attack of opportunity while he's doing that.
Perfect. Yes, sir. 14 more. He's in bad shape. Bad shape.
nice.
Let's see. He will go ahead here and attempt a Morning Star Strike. What is this? Okay, so he's going to use his ability and just gives him a slight bonus. So he should have a 25 there.
That misses. Oh, he has a 25? Yeah, that hits.
Okay, so it's still just the 10 damage though.
Yeah.
He has a thing called Bully Bludgeon that gives him a +2 once per. You can use that once per combat. Yeah, he hits you with that. Let's see, he's got 2 more or 1 more action. I guess he's just gonna go ahead and just go all in here. He's gonna need a miracle roll to hit you though. Again, no, he's gonna crit fumble.
Yeah.
That's where he would be. Makes sense. Okay, so he drops his Morning Star in the process. It goes clinking down the staircase behind you, Dallett, as it just goes flying by. And you just hear it rattling and falling down the spiral stairs as the look on his face is pretty much of defeat at this point. That is it for him. So now we're on to Xandros. So Xandros is now standing next to Sydney. And he said, I'm so glad that you could come and join me. And he did, I think at this point, his voice would echo a little bit in the room so everybody would hear this. But he'd say, you're far too late. The mechanisms of war are already turning. Restov will fall, and your petty kingdom will be but a distant memory, as the chimeras and trolls will take your lands. And he takes his wand, and as he lifts his wand, he says, "We will meet again." But before he fires his wand off, he says, "Oh yes, one more thing. Please say hello to my friend." And with that, he disappears. But as he's disappeared, you suddenly hear something. Let's see. Oops, wrong layer. And some of these crates shift, and from behind these crates emerges a chimera. So it looks like it had been holed off in the corner there, and now he has opened it up and let it out. And so now you're standing in the room with a familiar chimera, one that you may have seen before, one that may have lifted Svetlana and brought her here, his own pet he's left behind. With that, let me add it to the turn order real quick.
To be clear, I'm very familiar with the invisibility smell. Can I identify real quick with my quick recognition whether or not he actually went invisible or teleported away?
Yeah, if you want to do an arcane or arcana check,
I got that guy right there.
or that one, yeah, it's not a
It is
spell,
not.
but it's similar. I would say you're sure he's not invisible. I'll say that. You're positive he's not invisible.
And that he
So,
is actually
yeah, he looks like he's
magically left the room.
removed himself from the room. Excuse me. All right. So that brings up Rekla.
Dang, I was gonna have him drop his wand, but now it's gone too. How far is that guy from me? 30. All right. I'm gonna drop sound burst on the Chimera.
Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Let's see here. Half damage, 6 damage. Okay.
I like that the
Um,
critical and the normal damage were the same.
just out of curiosity, do these light figures are still here,
Yeah.
even though Xandros is gone?
Yeah. Those
Okay.
were created by the Spriggin.
Oh, I got you. All right, with his final action, Rekla will give guidance to Dallett.
All right. Dallett.
Alright, let's see if I can finish off this Spriggin. I'm not gonna try to knock it away or anything. Get down, just attack it.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah. So the Spriggin is dead from that hit. Or you're not trying to kill it.
No, I
You
was
were
trying
trying
to
to
kill
kill it. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it's dead, and as it dies, you see the lights and the humanoid figures leave the room as well, so it gets a little darker in here. And it's at that point you could hear all the growling and drooling of the dragon and lion and goat heads from across the room.
Alright, with my remaining actions, I'm gonna take out a healing potion and down it.
Okay.
Alright.
All right, feeling a little better, and Sydney's up.
Sydney's gonna run. There's 50 feet right there. I am, in fact, going to start going down the stairs. So for my first action, I am running to the stairs, and I'm going to say, "Boss, this is our time to leave. There's a fire downstairs, and no reason to be here no more." And I'm
Well,
gonna
I
go
can put
down to the
you.
floor.
I'll put you down here. You'll have an action left. So if I put you
I
here,
should have 2 actions because that
or
was
2
just 1
actions,
action.
yeah, that's 1 action. You should have 2 actions.
Yeah,
to
that
move
was
from
my
this
Kill his
point.
concern.
pet.
Boss, we gotta go. This whole floor is gone. We gotta go. This is our only exit now. And I am going to go out the window and start climbing down.
Okay, move you over. Hold on, let me move you to the right. What is this? There we go. All right, I got you at the window, and you can start climbing, like getting yourself
And
positioned.
my last action is so it's 1 action to get to the window, and then my
Yeah.
next action is to hoist myself out the window and start getting down as fast as I can.
All right.
Oh, not even as fast. I don't care actually. I'm gonna take my time getting down. Once I'm out the window, I'm safe from the fire. But
Okay, you're good. So you're hanging off the side of the tower currently. The Chimera's turn is next. He is not happy. Not supposed to be happy. Probably never happy. And yeah, so this thing is going to charge towards the stairs. It's going to put itself right here where it can take jaw attacks. So it's got 1 second. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it gets to take its 3 attacks as a 3-headed strike, even though it's just because of the way that these things are designed. So it's going to take a bite with the lion jaws first towards the gnome, we'll say. So this one's going towards Rekla.
go.
That is a critical hit.
That's a critical hit. 50 points. Is that possible? It rolled a 10, 6, yeah, times 2. The
Owie.
The other head on this sucker is going to be trying to take a chomp towards Dallett, and this is the dragon jaws.
Oh,
Boy, oh boy. At least it's not critical.
no, that just hits.
Okay.
Is
So
that 26 damage?
Scott took 50. Yeah.
No, but there's the 16 piercing damage here, and then there's 10 additional damage bottom. So I take both of those?
In this case, yeah, you're gonna take 26 damage. Yeah, you're
Okay.
right. Yeah. It's called Draconic Bite. So if you get bit, it's like an energy damage that's in addition. Okay, so then the last thing it's gonna do, it's got the goat horns. I guess it doesn't bite, right? It tries to spear you with its
Or-
horns. So this is going towards Dallett as well.
Oh.
And it hits you again.
I'm down.
Oof. Okay, that's its turn. So, Rekla, here you go, buddy.
Rekla will do a 1-action heal on Dallett.
Okay,
That's
13.
13. And then... Oh, shit. Why didn't I do that? Fuck. I forgot to do my blood vendetta when I got hit.
Well, you can do it. You can throw it up there. Go ahead, throw it up there.
Yeah?
Let's see what it was. What does this do? So, curse the target, punishing it for... So it's a will DC. Yeah, let's see.
Mhm.
It's a reflex, so it failed. It does take 2 damage.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's also weakness 1 to piercing and slashing damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it's persistent bleed.
Gotcha.
Ah, all right. So 2 more actions. He's still got to get up. We still got to get away from this fucking thing. What can I do? Let's do in its face little spray of stars.
You fling a spray of tiny shooting stars, dealing 1d4 damage. Each creature reflex. Okay.
The real thing is yeah, its reflex is awesome. The real thing though is that if it's dazed, it couldn't see us. We could have maybe gotten
So
away. But
yeah, but it's dazzled instead of dazed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I got that. Put dazzled.
That's the end of his turn.
All right, Dallett, you're back up on your feet again, or at least you're leaning against the wall. Maybe, I don't know. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt here.
However I am, I am going to make an executive decision, grab the gnome, and run down the stairs.
All right, this thing gets an attack of opportunity.
I have to risk it.
Yeah.
We're dead if we stand our ground here.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Even if I die on the stairs, I might be resurrected.
Maybe the body will tumble down far enough that it won't get to us.
Exactly. I
God.
don't know if a chimera can do stairs. I hope they can.
All right, I'm gonna try to work because we're at time anyway. I'm gonna try to pick the melee strike that it's the worst at. Which one is it the worst at? I guess unarmed fist technically is like the worst thing it could do. Let's see if it can strike you or
It's
not.
dazzled, so it's trying its weakest thing.
All right. Actually, I guess it's the claw. Okay.
Random swipe.
All right. Well, unfortunately, it looks like it
That's
hit
a
you.
critical. That doesn't really matter, but
Yeah, so this thing has swatted you. Here's what we'll do is, so let me have you roll an athletics check before, so this is something that I want to figure out that happens simultaneously here. Okay, so you were able to grab the gnome, right, and start to run. You were struck. You guys are both gonna fall down a flight of steps here and land on the floor below you. Excuse me. In the process, you'll take 5 more points of damage from rolling down the staircase, but you do end up at the landing of the floor below on the 4th floor, as this thing has accelerated your descent. So I think Dallett's down. It'll be Sydney's on the outside. So Sydney, you can roll a perception check here to see if you detect any of the happenings from above. Nope, you're not really
Wouldn't be a
too
day.
sure. You're climbing, brother. You're climbing. You could do your athletics checks to navigate the side here, which, again, are you using a rope? Are you using just the wall itself? Or some power? You're muted.
Sorry, I forgot I'm muted. No, I'm literally just trying to take my time because I know I'm not gonna burn on the outside of the tower.
Okay, all right. So go ahead and just do athletics then.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna fall.
Yeah, you're gonna fall. Let's see, you're gonna take some damage from the fall. Go ahead and do a reflex save. We'll see if you can minimize any of the damage from your landing. All right, so you're gonna take 23 points of damage.
The first 10 feet I fall don't cause damage, right? It's just every 10 feet.
Oh
after
yeah,
that,
so you
right?
can take the so it's 19 points. 19 points. Sorry, I did do an extra. You're on the ground now, and
That's cool.
you're
And it
not
only took
burning.
one action.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back upstairs. The Chimera is probably got to consider what its instructions are and to whether to navigate this situation or not. I'm gonna just cut to Rekla since he's the last one alive. Rekla, you hear this beast at the top of the stairs behind you. Sounds like he might be attempting to traverse the stairs.
Yeah, I think what Rekla's going to do is cast a 2-action heal as a 2nd level spell. So this will add another 1d8. This is on Dallett.
Dallett.
Another 1d8 plus 8. So that's 14, 24 healing to Dallett.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
And with the final action, I think he's just going to start moving towards the window in hopes that Dallett can get himself put together.
Okay. All right. You can move yourself to the window. And Dallett, you're back on your feet yet again. You're like in and out of consciousness. Like, just this whole thing's just coming in quick snippets for you. But you're back. You obviously would recognize the fire on this floor. You would know where you were. You'd be able to get your bearings. You do have to stand up, so you'll have to spend an action to get up off the ground.
Yeah, Rekla would be yelling like, "This way to the window."
So go for it.
How high is the window?
40 feet.
40 feet.
It hurts.
Hold on a second. Remember, it's athletics. And I'm sorry, I have a catfall thing. Catfall skill.
Oh yeah, yeah. That minimizes. I think at 20 feet it minimizes.
At the level I have, it's 25. Damn it. Alright.
Well, it gets rid of some of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you really want to use it, like you could try to use it to help break your fall. Like it obviously isn't gonna prevent damage all the way, but 25 foot of it.
Yeah, I don't want to be taking 15 feet of damage, really. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to get to the window and just jump out. Or not jump out, but just drop out.
Okay, so one action to there, one action out, and then down the side. Go ahead and do athletics check. All right, yeah, so for you, Dallett, you're able to get yourself a good handhold to where you can control your descent. You might look down and see Sydney picking herself up off the ground and dusting herself off, and probably her legs hurting pretty bad from the fall, but still in one piece. Let's see, let me cut over. Sydney, anything you want to do as you see Dallett descending above you?
Yeah, Sydney is just groaning. She will drag herself to her feet. And I am going to ready a cast of illusory object to cover the whole window and make it look like it's solid stone after I see Rekla come out of it.
Okay.
That way the Chimera doesn't see the hole.
I got you. Okay.
Or at least has to like get past the illusion to see it. But that's just going to be readied until Rekla because I don't want to close the window on Rekla and have him be all confused.
Gotcha.
So
All right.
I'm just stumbled to my feet, ready to do this thing, and then take a long nap.
All right. Let's see here. 1 second. I think I got. Oops.
And this is the spell that I will be casting. And it's the second level version, so it's got tactile and stuff like that.
Okay. All right, so you're back here. You hear the sort of movement of these legs coming down the. It's got to be a really grim feeling for Rekla right now, being the only one left in the place. The room's on fire, and you're being chased by something that could eat you with 3 different mouths. And so it gets to the point where this thing like comes into the room, Rekla, and it's kind of like searching for you. It's like sniffing you out with the lion's nose and the dragon's nose and looking around with all the eyes it has, and eventually emerges on this floor following your scent and looking around. And it is, let's see, 1 2, it makes it here with 2 movements, and then I think it's going to. Yeah, it's going to go ahead and come right up to you, Rekla. It won't have an attack left, but it's chasing you, so it's right on your tail. Like, you can see this thing ready to bite your ass. So it's your turn.
You dive out that.
Well, he's gonna have an attack of opportunity when I run away.
Can't you take a 5 foot
But I
step?
die
when
if
you
I
take
stay.
action?
So
You
it's
can do
like,
a step.
what's
You
that?
can do a step
Can't
action.
you take a 5 foot step or whatever with your 1 action?
Yeah.
And then use another
You
side
can't.
action
You
to get
can't
the
do
rest
that. So you'll have to burn an action to step, right? And then
Yeah.
you can use your other action to
Jump
get to the
out the window.
No, you wanted to get to the window, and then one
No,
jump.
I think I'm gonna jump.
All
I
right, so
can heal you.
let me just show you real quick. This is what you see basically in the room behind you at this point from the window. This is the view
Okay.
of
Yes.
what you would see pretty much.
So with his second action, he is jumping out that window, and as he's falling, he's going to use his last action to cast heal on himself, absorb some of the damage he's about to take.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that's actually good. So you saved your action so you could cast heal on yourself, so you might be able to absorb the fall. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll your heal, and
It
you
should
got
be
that.
that
Oh,
11.
you got it.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you got that. So here's gonna be your
So that
fall
puts me at
damage. Do you have any
It's
other
not
skills or
fun,
anything that absorb damage or
I mean,
falling
I could use
damage?
my I could try an acrobatic landing or something.
Go ahead, you can do an acrobatic check,
All right,
and I'll roll the damage.
not gonna help.
I try
It's
to
not
break
gonna help
his
you.
fall if I see him coming.
Okay.
But I've also still got the mystery of the cosmos, so that takes some of the damage off.
Okay, so it was 17 was the
Yeah.
roll. So 17 would be the total to start with, and then you can subtract from there.
Cool. So that'd make it 12 damage. I'm at 29, so that's cool. I'm
You
down to
lived.
7.
You survived.
I lived. I
All right.
lived.
Okay. Then what we'll do here is I'm gonna have you guys back outside the tower, where you will see
That looks
our
awful.
our friend sort of peeking its heads out the window up above like that.
Yeah.
And you guys are all at the base at this point and trying to make your
Are you
escape.
saying something?
Sorry. Illusory object on the window. I covered up the
Yeah,
window.
okay. So you got the illusory objects,
He's got to figure that out.
but it would actually, before he gets his head through, you guys would have 2 more actions here. Dallett would be first. So Dallett, I assume as you see the gnome falling from the tower, you know, that he's made it safely. What would you like to do now?
I will kind of try to just push them along, take half my movement to push everybody.
Yeah. So if you just want to use your turn to get everybody moving.
Yeah, move them like 30 feet out.
Okay. And then Sydney, that's when your turn would go off. The window would become covered,
Oh, I had that
you
ready
know,
to action.
by the illusory.
I
Yeah.
had
Oh,
that
that's right.
ready
Okay.
with it
So then
as an
the
action
the
at the end of my
illusory wall is there. This thing wouldn't probably deal with that right away. You guys are able to make your escape from the side of the tower back towards your camp, and we'll
Murder
leave it.
tube.
We'll leave it there. You survived. You survived. That was what you had to do. You had to survive. You did survive somehow, and you made it out alive.
Goodness.
So yeah, we'll stop there. We'll perk the session. Basically, I'll put you guys in camp with the kobold. Let me type that in so that we remember that. In camp with kobold and hostages. 4 remaining hostages. All right.
All right. Wow. What a sesh.
Pursued by Chimera. There we
We're
go.
doing so well until that last floor.
Yeah, it was such a low key, just
Yeah, you guys
kill
like, do you guys want to kill him?
Oh,
Yeah,
la,
let's just kill him.
la.
Gonna kill him? Yeah, let's just kill him. All right, and then
oh shit, this is about to be a TPK. We're about to die.
yeah,
We got up there at the wrong time. You know? Like, we got up there staggered. I couldn't buff anybody. And,
Yeah,
that did not
and
go well.
honestly, going up there with the Chimera or with the Spriggin up there
Yeah.
wasted a lot of your energy. Like you guys
Yeah.
could have dealt with things if you were focused on one enemy, but you were
I
spread.
really didn't want him to get up those stairs, but he did.
Yeah,
Uh,
but yeah, that
I
was
really
just
hoping that natural 20, even with the shitty athletics, was gonna work out and knock the fucking swarm out of his.
No, it's good. It's good. You guys definitely cleared the tower at this point, other than the one creature. So you know that there's just one creature that survived.
In an inferno. In
and-
an inferno.
And he won't probably stay in there very long, given the fact that there's a big hole on the 3rd floor, or ground floor, I should say, that you opened in that Dallett kicked through the door and knocked
Yup.
that off the side. So it's open now. The tower is open. But this thing would have some difficulty tracking you at this point, and you would have snuck away, or not snuck away, but ran away fast. So that's where we'll park it. We'll leave it there for next session.
And bravely.
Um,
And bravely.
so I was going to get us back to our normal cadence. I know Joe can't play next week, but next week would be our normal. So if everyone's good, I'll update the schedule and we'll move it back to next Tuesday and every alternating Tuesday, and we'll try to keep that schedule for a while. It's been it's just been hard here at the beginning of the year to stay on track. So I tried to alternate a little bit so we could fill in and have sessions
it
and
should be
not
good
so
for me.
much time.
I'm
Cool.
okay with that.
cool.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Good session.
Good seeing y'all.
See ya.
Take care.
Peace.